Hey everybody, welcome to Sid's Little Corner of the Internet. We've got another Transformers review coming your way. This time around we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers War for Cybertron Soundwave Spy Patrol 3rd unit. So as we always do, let's go ahead and take a look at that packaging. Bring that in and you can see the Autobot logo and some Cybertronian and a graffiti style there. Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy. You have what's inside the package right there. Underneath the lip you have a little Transformers War for Cybertron. Over here on the side, you have manufacturing information. On the back, you have Transformers War for Cybertron logo. Over here, you have your warnings, and you do have your sad baby. And on the bottom, you have nothing. Now, inside, they do have some really cool artwork here. So looking at the bottom, you have a side B of a cassette. And then up here at the top, you have the side A of the cassette with that hexagonal style artwork there. So the packaging itself is pretty cool. I do like the Generation Selects packaging that they use on these. So let's go ahead and move that on out of the way, and then we will talk about what came in the package. So the first thing we'll talk about is your page of warnings. Don't worry, it's always there. If you ever lose your copy, just buy another Transformer and you'll get it. Second thing you get are the instructions. So you will notice here that the names are on these instructions, so in case you ever do forget who you're dealing with here, you have Decepticon Wingthing, he's the dude with the bat face, and Decepticon Frenzy, he's the dude with the human face, and back here you have Decepticon Skar, he's the dude with the really angry bat face, and Decepticon Knok, he's the dude with the Optimus Prime face. So, there you go. Alright, so let's go ahead and bring these guys in for a little bit of detail. So we will start with Frenzy over here. We'll get a nice close look at him. Now these are small figures, so let me do my best here to try to hold them still so you can see that detail. You do get that silver painted face, and you do get good detail in that. You get a tiny Decepticon logo. You have good molded in detail all around. And got nice paint work on those legs. And then turn them to the side here. You do get that nice blue paint right there. And on the back, get some good molded in detail as well. Alright, and we will move on to Wingthing. And this is a bright orange fella. Now I have the wings folded just for stability here, but the wings do fold all the way out. So you do get a pretty good wingspan on these guys. I mean, overall it's good size. So you can see that there is good detail on this guy. He's got those beady little eyes, those silver paint right there in the shoulders, and then the black with that Decepticon logo right there. Good amounts of molded in detail. And on the back, again, they're not boring to look at. These are small figures, but they do have all kinds of nice detail built into them. I mean, just take a look at that. It's nice. Good paint down here. Okay. And then we will bring in Skar. And we'll do the same thing with this guy. Let me open up his wings. And we'll look at that beautiful, angry, ugly face. He's got those little beady red eyes on him. And you will notice that, I didn't mention it, but Frenzy and Wingthing have Decepticon logos. Skar and Knok, they do not. And the reason they don't is because they actually work with Doubledealer, who is a third party. You know, he's not a Decepticon, he's not an Autobot, he's just a mercenary. So he has no loyalty to anyone. So you won't see Decepticon logos on Skar or Knok. But again, good detail right there. Even up inside the wing right there, I think that's good. Nice paint right there on the shoulders as well. And then from the back, you see there is the similar molded details just from where they share components. But overall, I think this came out looking really nice. All right, and then let's go ahead and bring Knok in for his close-up. So there you have him with his little blue face and his Optimus Prime visor. And again, I've said it before, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. This guy must have some Optimus Prime posters up in his room. I wouldn't be surprised. Good detail all the way through here. And I like what they've done here where they've molded in the blasters with the hands on the two humanoid figures on Frenzy and on Knok to give a little bit of an illusion there, since they didn't come with any accessories, that you have some weapons built in. And then from the back, overall not too bad. Alright, so as far as articulation goes, you may have already been able to figure this out, but these two guys are articulated the same way, so I will just use Knok as my articulation model. So up here at the head, there's no up and down or side to side, but you do get the ability to turn that head. You can go all the way around if you choose to do so. So you can take that all the way around. The shoulders come up that far before they hit a hard stop there, but because of the transformation, you can actually bring them up that far if you choose to do so, and then you can get a little bit more out of it. So, he can be that kid raising his hand in class. And they will go all the way around. They're on a ball joint. You get a little bit of side to side right there, but you're not going to get a whole lot just due to the limitations of the geometry on his arm. And no elbow bend, no bicep rotation, nothing like that. You do get wrist swivel due to transformation, so you could take advantage of that if you want to. Alright, nothing at the waist, but at the hips, they can do some pretty darn good splits. I mean, that's a nice Van Damme if I do say so myself. It's a mini Van Damme, but it's a Van Damme. And as far as kicking forward, he can kick forward that far. He can kick backward that far. So not too bad. I think that's pretty good for a little guy. And then for the knees, you can get a 90-degree on that knee. And he has nothing at the feet or at the thigh, but he does have rotation at the knee, so you can, do some poses with him right there. So overall, for a little guy, yeah, pretty good articulation on him. All right, and then let's go ahead and use Skar for our model for these two. So you do have some movement in the head. You can bring that head down, you could bring that head up, and because it due to transformation, it is on a double hinge, so you could bring it all the way up like that if you choose to do so. Bring it down. There's no up or down, side to side, or rotation. And then for the wings, you can angle the wings. If you want to give him a kind of a creepy, kind of a creepy look like that, you could do something along those lines. So that's kind of odd. And of course, as you've already seen, you can, of course, due to transformation, you can fold those completely up. You can pretty much angle these wherever you want. And he does have tiny little feet down here that are almost useful. So you can fold those all up that far and down that far. All right, so, but I have found the easiest way is to just fold those wings in like that, and then that will get you a pretty decent standing pose with these guys. All right, so what we'll do is we will get these guys out of the way. We will use Frenzy as our transformation model for the two humanoid figures, and we'll go ahead and get that started here momentarily. All right, so to get the humanoid figures transformed, it's pretty simple. There's not a whole lot to it here. You take these arms and you raise them up so they're sitting flush against his head. And then you take those little hands and you tilt them down until they hit their hard stop. And you should have something that looks like that. And then you're going to take those legs, you're going to rotate them inward 90 degrees so the hollow areas are sitting out here, and then you're just going to raise them up and fold them in. So there you go. That is Frenzy in his alt mode, his cassette tape mode. And there's not a whole lot to it. While we're here, we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at those details. And it's going to look a lot like the robot mode details because he's just doing a yoga pose. But yeah, so overall, not too bad. And what we'll do now is we will go ahead and move him out of the way, and we'll bring Skar in to be our model for transformation for the bats. Alright, so to transform the two bat figures, Skar and Wingfinger, first thing you can do is you can just take this head, it's on a double hinge, and you can just simply press that and bring that up so it's sitting flush up here with this surface. And then you can take those wings, typically you would have them folded out all the way like that, but you want to fold them all the way in. Don't press yet because you have little tabs here that go into little slots on his chest right there. So just bring those in, and then you can fold those wings down. That will align everything, and then you can press those wings in and bring those feet up. And there you have Skar in his alt mode. So overall, yeah, not too bad. I mean, they transform into little cassettes for Soundwave. So, you know, I think they do what they've intended to do. So there's details on the front for Skar, and on the what would be the back for the cassette mode. So yeah, overall, not too bad. So what we'll do now is we'll bring all four of them in, and we'll line them up so you can see how they all look together. And there we have all four figures from the Spy Patrol 3rd Unit Pack together in their alt modes. From left to right, you have Knok, Skar, Wingfinger, and Frenzy, all in their cassette modes. So what we'll do now is we'll get a couple of these guys out of the way, and we'll bring in some cassette mode comparisons so you can see how they stack up against some of the other figures out there. So Frenzy and Wingfinger have graciously volunteered to be my models for the comparisons. So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and get started with those. So the first comparison that we have is Laserbeak from the Earthrise War for Cybertron. Next up, we have Laserbeak from the Masterpiece line. So this is the Laserbeak that goes with MP13 Soundwave. Next, we have G1 Buzzsaw, which is the twin of Laserbeak. He just happens to be gold on the back instead of the typical Laserbeak red. And finally, we have a cheap Frenzy / Rumble G1 knockoff that I've had since my childhood. I'm not sure where this guy came from, but I know he's definitely not a name brand transformer, but he's the same size, same transformation, does everything else the G1 figures do, and he's one of my last surviving G1 cassettes, unfortunately. Alright, so there we have it for the alt mode comparisons. So what we'll do now is we'll get these guys transformed back into their bot modes, and we'll do some comparisons there and have a little bit of fun. And before we get to the transformation and get them back into their bot mode, I would be remiss if I did not mention a few other areas of compatibility. So to start off with, for those of you who have the Earthrise Doubledealer, there are a couple things you can do with these guys with Doubledealer, kind of as a callback to G1. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but you know, I want to be thorough and I want to make sure that you're aware of it. So the first thing is with Skar, you do have the ability to pull this little peg out right there on him, and underneath the rocket in Doubledealer's alt mode, you have this little engine compartment. Now, it's not the easiest thing to grab, especially when you have large fingers, but you have this little engine that you can pop out of there, and you can plug the engine into Skar right there, kind of as a Power Master callback to the G1 figure. There's not a whole lot else that I'm aware of that you can do with this, but it's there if you want to do it. And the other thing that you can do with him, let's put this engine back on, if I can reach it without pulling Doubledealer apart. There's a little peg in here. Let's get that in there. The other thing that you can do with Skar is you can just plug him into any of these ports, and as a G1 callback, plug him in to the rocket, and you can do something like that if you want to. I don't think it looks that great, but it's there. Okay. Now, regarding Knok, you don't really get to see him in this mode, but it's still kind of a neat thing that they put in here. So underneath this compartment on Doubledealer, if you raise it up, you do have this hollow area. You will notice that they do color match, so that's a big hint for you as well. So you can just take him and you can store him right in there with Doubledealer and tuck that away. And if you stick Skar on the rocket, then you will have Doubledealer with his little mercenary buddies all, you know, being ready for hire to go do whatever things mercenaries do. Okay? And then the other thing is I need to show you compatibility with Soundwave. I mean, these are cassettes, so you need to see that there is some compatibility there. So let's take those guys out. We'll move Doubledealer out of the way. Thank you, sir. And we will bring in Soundwave. I'll do a quick camera adjustment here. Bring him up. There we go. All right, so now we have Soundwave, and as we saw earlier, of course, we saw Laserbeak, and this is the Earthrise Soundwave. You just stick Laserbeak in, close it up, ta-da, there you have it. And you can do the same thing with these guys. Now, I have found that they're the right size, but they can be a little sticky. They're not as smooth as Laserbeak is, so you pop them in there. Oh, yeah, let me make sure I've got the right side exposed. Yeah, that looks more like a cassette than that does. So you can stick these guys in there and pop them in. I don't think that looks too bad. You've got compatibility there. And do the same thing here with Skar. And like I said, he's just a little stickier. I don't know. He's just slightly oversized. There's just a little bit of a tolerance difference there. So you can get him in. It's just a little bit of a tighter fit. Nothing that scares me, but it's there. You see when you push the button down, you just got to grab that and pull it out a little bit. So there you have it. You have compatibility with Soundwave and with Doubledealer. So if that interests you, there you go. So to get the humanoid figures back into their robot mode from their alt mode, it's, again, pretty simple. There's not a lot to it. You're just going to pull these legs and you're going to rotate them 90 degrees, pull the other leg, rotate it 90 degrees, pull the arms away from the head, and expand those hands. And there you have Knok in his tiny little robot mode. And for the bat figures, Skar and Wingfinger, to get them transformed back to their animal mode or bat mode or robot mode, whatever you want to call them, you just flip these little feet down right there, bring these wings down, pull the wings out, and then grab that head, bring it down on the double hinge, and then do with the wings what you will, and angle him whatever way you want to get him standing up. And there you go. Alright, so now that we've got everybody transformed back up into their bot mode, we'll bring in some other figures for some comparisons. Alright, so our first comparison is Laserbeak from the Transformers War for Cybertron Earthrise. Next up, we have Laserbeak from the Masterpiece line, the Laserbeak you would see with MP13 Soundwave. Next up, we have G1 Buzzsaw, which is the same thing as Laserbeak, except he's golden. And last but not least, we have my little cheap third-party knockoff from the 1980s for the Frenzy/Rumble mold. Alright, so that's it for the robot mode comparisons. So what we'll do now is I will get these guys out of the way, and I will go ahead and give you my final thoughts. Alright guys, so my final thoughts on the Transformers War for Cybertron Spy Patrol third pack. I think these are fun little figures. If you're anything like me, you know, you grew up with Soundwave and with his cassettes with Ravage and Frenzy and Laserbeak and Rumble, and it was just a lot of fun to carry those little guys with you and to kind of do that role playing, and these guys kind of bring that fun back. And of course the Earthrise Soundwave figure himself is a fantastic figure, definitely worth picking up. And of course, if you have the Soundwave, why would you not want to have more minions for your Soundwave? And these guys deliver on that. They're just a lot of fun. They add to the ranks of the Decepticons and or mercenaries, and yeah, they just add an extra level of playability. So I do recommend, if you can find the pack, to pick it up. Now, I did pick this up from a local toy retailer. I paid just a little bit over retail for it. Actually, what I paid for this was $23, and I don't think that was too bad of a price for what you get here. I mean, you get 4 of these minifigs, and there's a lot of playability and fun there. So yeah, if you can find them, pick them up. This is not worth $50, I'll tell you that. But yeah, if you can get it, you know, anywhere between 20 and 30 bucks, I think it's an easy decision. Pick them up and have some fun, especially if you're like me and you like Soundwave and you like all the other minions. So yeah, with that, that's going to wrap this review up. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in. I love all the support and all the feedback that we're getting. It's just really encouraging. We're going to keep bringing these reviews to you. So hopefully, if you haven't already done so, be sure to hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, because we're going to keep pumping out content for you. And be sure to leave us a comment. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you'd want to see us do a little bit differently. Maybe anything we can do to improve the channel. So with that, guys, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let you get back to your day. And yeah, I'm probably going to go play with these guys a little bit. So until next time, you guys take care.